the work from work clothes that I never get to wear because I work from home. So
I know. Well, we'll jump right into it. I know you're extremely busy, so I just want to welcome everyone to the stream. My name's Miriam, and today I'm live on Entre chatting with Courtney Gillens, CEO of Mary Jane Enterprises. And how are you doing? How are you feeling today, Courtney?
doing better than I was. I was really nervous today, but I had a good friend who reminded me that the deciding to do the thing is a lot worse than doing the thing. So I'm happy to be here doing the thing. I think it'll go really well.
I think it's going to be great. We're just going to have a conversation. You can share your knowledge with people. You have so much valuable experience that other people can learn from. I'm really grateful for you taking time to join the stream today, because so many people, they want to launch something. They want to have a brand on Amazon, and here you are, you have done it. So chime in with your questions today for Courtney. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. We'll drop that into the room chat. And that way you guys can connect with her here on Entre and on other social platforms. But let's just kind of dive right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to be an entrepreneur working on your business?
So I started Mary Jane Enterprises back in 2018. And it was something that I've always wanted to do. Well, I guess I should start that first. Entrepreneurship is, I guess it's a spirit that really runs through my family, starting with my dad. So in my own home growing up, I saw an entrepreneur and what that looked like. So my dad would go to work full time, and after work, he'd have me and my sisters acting as little secretaries, sending electricity calls to his pagers back then. So it started with just seeing that. And I have a lot of family members who are entrepreneurs and are in business for themselves, whether they work full time or they actually are full-time entrepreneurs. So I've seen it a lot just growing up. And it's one of those things that once you see it, you know you can do it, you know you can be it. So, but the name of the company, Mary Jane, it came from wanting to do something special to honor my late grandmother, who I never got a chance to meet. And this is my maternal grandma. So a lot of what I've seen growing up, because we grew up on my paternal side of the family, my dad's side, had to do with his side of the family. We were heavily influenced, although we visited my mom's side pretty frequently. It's just kind of, you're missing that hands-on going to the grocery store with that grandma, because she passed away so young when my mom was still a child. So it's always just wondering about that side of myself, like wanting to know what about her trickled down to me. I can totally see the Gillen side in me. I always say I see at least 4 of my aunts. Every time I look into the mirror, I see at least 3 of my 4 aunts. I can see it in the genes and some of the behaviors that I've been around pretty much all my life. But you always just wonder who was Mary Jane, and like what things about me do I get from her? And my mom doesn't really have that many stories because she was so young. So I wanted to do something to honor her, so I founded Mary Jane Enterprises, actually as a chance to be a contractor for a previous full-time employer who had already taken on some part-time work doing bookkeeping and consulting. Mm-hmm. And it just got to a point where it's like, why are you paying employer taxes for me? And why am I still an employee when I can now just, do this as an LLC? And Mary Jane's Court came about, let's say the end of 2019, when I wanted to do something new, do a new thing in 2020. So that's when I started to think of a creative way to try and do something in the e-commerce realm. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of came up with the name in early 2020, Mary Jane's Court. I am Mary Jane's Court, Courtney. So
I love that. So the Mary Jane comes from your family lineage, and then you paired it with court for your name, Courtney, and that's how you kind of came up with the name. And started off with doing what you were already doing, bookkeeping, but just kind of instead of as a employee, you branched off and started your own brand and company doing that, and doing consulting work essentially, and then decided to grow the business and branch off into the home goods, which I love these super stylish umbrellas that you have, the mugs. Where did you come up with the concepts for those products? And feel free to share your screen if you have any, pictures and things like that you can bring.
Well, I'm sipping from one of them now. This is Queen Rayanne. And talking about the concepts. So what I did was, I am not a visual artist, not to a degree that I feel comfortable with at the moment. I'm an artist. My background is in theater arts. So I've always been an artist of sorts. But I came up with the concept to create characters around the designs that I bought the rights to use. So I created this collection of queens with attitude, and just playing off of, QWA, N words with attitude. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do a positive spin. Thanks for sharing your screen. I'm terrible at multitasking, especially in having to also present. But I just came up with the 4 characters with the 4 designs, and I named them essentially after women who've influenced me throughout my life. There's Queen Rosemary. She has the rose, pretty much afro. And she's kind of named after one of my best friends growing up, after her mom, who raised like 8 kids on her own. And we, kind of lived in poverty, but was always so positive. She was always the stop and smell the roses type. She was always like, who wants to play bingo? Let's have a cookout. Never really, not that she didn't take life too seriously, but she didn't let like her position or her struggles like define her whatsoever. She's still that person to this day. And that's Queen Rosemary. Queen Rayanne is the one I'm drinking from. This is inspired by my aunt Rayanne. Her character is more of, you can conquer anything that you face, because that's the strength I've seen in my actual aunt. I mean, she's been through so many things. And she just continues to just rise above, and she pours so much into us. Like going to Aunt Rayanne's house, she was our next door neighbor growing up, was like it's even to this day, you got to make time, because you're going to leave different from when you arrived. And I wanted to do something to honor her as well. Rain Goddess is kind of who I aspire to be. Rain Goddess is the person who's not afraid to meet their challenges head on. So I chose the design with the turban on the head, wearing her crown. And then there's Lady Jane, who's sold out. I don't even have a Lady Jane to share. I think I only have the prototypes left of Lady Jane, but she's another part of me. And all these characters are part of me, and a part of some things I struggle with or aspire to be in some form. It's a creation out of me tapping into my imagination to give value to a product that maybe I didn't draw the artwork, but with designer notes, which they were happy to share with me, and my own imagination, I was able to create this court of queens who come from all walks of life, and will kind of, I think people will see a reflection of themselves in these characters, and will just kind of be a reminder. Like if you're going through a hard time, you can take a sip with Queen Rayanne, and just kind of a reminder that you're gonna make it through.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. So you were like, I want to do some products, but I'm not an artist per se in that way. So you went out and found an artist to create the art that goes onto the goods that you sell. Where did you go about doing that? Can you tell us a little bit more about that process?
Yes, so not exact. I didn't scope out the artist, but my manufacturer was able to share some designs with me. And then from there, I was able to, they were kind of the liaison between me and the artist, who licensed the designs to them. And by way of my purchasing, I'm the licensee as well. So I would say in 2019, the end of the year, I was trying to figure out, because I knew I wanted to do something big and something different. And seeing all these Shopify stores pop up, I'm like, man, everyone's selling T-shirts and stuff on Instagram. I should be able to do this. It doesn't seem too hard. There's no reason I can't do a print-on-demand shop. I wanted to settle in on a product, because I'm big about being different and standing out. So that's when I chose the product, the umbrella. So I began sourcing suppliers. Well, number one, back to the why I chose the umbrella, because even this is probably the stat that really made me stick with this product. I think in 2018, 33 million umbrellas sold in only the North Americas alone. So it's definitely a product that's in demand. Rain or shade, you're going to need an umbrella. And think about all the other parts of the world that are known for rain. You think about South America and all these different countries where it rains heavily for certain parts of the year. So it's definitely a high in demand product. I didn't even go too deep into, feasibility and all that, because all of that stuff that we are taught, and I do have a business management minor, it kind of, you can get caught up in that, and then it'll stop you from starting. And I was at a place where I just wanted to start something, especially at the start of a new decade, 2020 being a year that I thought was significant. So I just made a decision to start with the umbrellas. And then I started doing research on how to source products. And that's when I came upon Alibaba.com. And there's a lot of drop shippers who use another component of Alibaba. And there are, people like me in big name stores. My manufacturer has done umbrellas for promotional products for L'Oreal, BMW, a lot of stores like you see and know. So, I found someone I liked. I got a few quotes. I saw some of their work, and it kind of boiled down to the person who matched my personality. It was a salesperson who always stayed in touch, didn't seem pushy or aggressive, kind of knew I was new at this and starting out, and really willing to take me by the hand and walk with me through the process. So she shared a lot of the design portfolios with me. And once I saw these, I was done. I was like, oh my God, I need these girls in my life. Who are they? So that's where I got started.
Love that.
So Alibaba, if I guess to give people a little background about who they are, they're kind of like an Amazon, but on a macro scale. They're a bunch of manufacturers. Basically, they kind of link you to manufacturers throughout the world. So there are umbrella suppliers in India, Africa, China, Japan. They have so many people, and they put you right in front of those people. I guess it's it's a little bit more complex than Amazon, but it's a platform that you see some similarities with. And it's not just for you buying one product, it's you wholesaling products. They can design and customize pretty much anything on that platform.
Right. So talk us through that. So you went and found Alibaba, found your manufacturer, found someone you were comfortable with, got the designs. And then how long was it from when you had decided on the designs and placed the order before the items arrived to you? And then what did you do with them following that? Because I know it's a whole process.
It's a process. So the samples from most of these manufacturers, you can expedite them. They can send them. In my case, I was starting out in China. You can expedite them and have them in your hands within 7 days. You're going to pay probably high for shipping, but most of the manufacturers I work with they really want your business, so they'll send you samples of other things, or maybe you ask for that one design and that one sample, so you only pay so much starting out. They'll be kind and send you the other 3. So I think that's what happened with my first sample supplier. She gave me all 4 designs, and then told me I had to purchase the rights to the designs and provided me with the copyright material and all that. And what I really did at first was I laid them out in front of me, and to this day they still sit in front of me, in front of where my TV is. And I would sit on the couch in silence, particularly on a rainy day, and I would try to envision what I want this character to say. So that's when I started developing the characters around them. I just had the samples, and I knew I wanted to sell them. I thought I was going to launch my own e-commerce website at first. And that's one thing that I also tried to do on my own, starting out. But I just wanted to like build these characters up before I just started selling random umbrellas. I don't. There are a lot of what one of my business coaches would say airhead brands out there. It's like they sell your product and it's cute, but there's no substance behind it. It's just airhead. And I know in honoring my late ancestor, I really want to. I don't want it to be like an airhead brand. I want it to have real substance. I want it to be done right in a way. Right for me is like knowing I left it all on the table, knowing I poured everything I had into it. So I didn't want to just say, hi, here's a cute umbrella, buy it for $19.99 on my website with no real substance. So that's kind of what my first steps were. And then all the entrepreneurial skills that you have to learn along the way, that's when I kind of got sucked into all of the things that come with being an entrepreneur, with maybe not a background in web design, product development, marketing, any of that. So I kind of got sucked in, got lost for a bit, and then redirected through finding a few really good coaches, a few really bad ones too, but just finding some coaches to kind of help guide me, and realizing there's a community of people out here, including entrepreneurs who started from scratch, who already have gone through what this is, this feeling of like, what am I even doing? Why am I doing this? What do I do next? How do I get it all done? So that's when I got sucked into that. And I had some coaches that I hired, some coaches that I fired, but they kind of gave me the tools and at least the pathway forward, so that I could stop trying to build my website by myself, because I am not a web designer, and outsource that material, to outsource these projects to skilled people to do, those things for me, because I'm currently still working full time in a very demanding job. And I still do the bookkeeping and consulting. So that was the first side hustle. So this is the side hustle.
Right. Okay, great. So, and I think that's what really sets your brand kind of apart, is the story behind it. It's not just like you're drop shipping these products. You have real thoughts and mindful intention behind each one of the characters, and why you chose them and how they spoke to you. Once you placed and got the samples, then when did you get the full supply, and how was that? Because I have heard things like, oh, it's, because you have to get through customs and stuff like that. Talk us through some of those challenges and how things you've learned.
I definitely started to learn about lead time pretty early on. So knowing the samples were one thing, but my manufacturer was clear in that it's going to take about 45 days of lead time, and that's the quickest it could be. So if you're starting out and wanting to mass produce some product from afar, from overseas, you don't want to do it like now during Black Friday. You don't want to do it during the Chinese New Year, which is pretty much the whole month of January for us. It's like everyone's off, and that's just, you have to learn the culture of the country where you're sourcing your products, and you have to know what their major holidays are. All these things factored in. And then, the world economy factors in as well, because right at the start of 2020, we had the public health crisis, which is still ongoing, the pandemic. So supply and demand really was affected, and shipping times were crazy. I've seen even, celebrities, people I've seen on TV who outsource the mass production of their products, who were struggling to get their products into the country due to the pandemic. So, just knowing I wasn't in it alone was one thing, but learning how to better prepare for the next go around is where I am this time. And again, I feel like I'm a little different from a lot of the entrepreneurs I've run into on this path, because there's a culture of rushing, and there's a culture of, just hurrying up and getting it done. Do it before Black Friday. Get it done so you have this before Valentine's Day sales. Do it before Christmas. Yeah. I'm going at my own pace. I'm doing the best I can, and nobody's going to rush me. When it's done, I'm going to know that I've done my best with it. And I've taken my time and done it right, and I loosely use that term right. But just planning for the next year. My website is not going to be done by next Thursday, Friday, but it'll be done before Christmas, maybe.
Right.
I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to burn myself out to arrive like half dead when I arrive. I'm going to be in one piece and happy with what I've produced and put out there to the world.
I love that. And let me know if you need any help with little dabbling with websites. I'm happy to support. I'm not a website builder, but I've built quite a few websites.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the opportunities that have come along since you've opened your own business. Do you feel like it was a good decision that you made?
I do. I feel like it was good because speaking of from a personal standpoint, it gives me an opportunity to search myself and on a constant basis and reevaluate and reflect on things that I did well, things that I didn't do well. It's a path of growth that working a 9-to-5 is just never going to give you. And sometimes you feel crazy because you set out to do this thing and be a business owner. But I have so much more respect for the local business owners who are bold enough in many cases here in Miami to come from another country and set up shop, put themselves out there, not knowing if you're going to fail. And my type A personality, I'll just tell you, I was the valedictorian in school. I made straight A's all my life. So like that personality type struggles with the fear of failure. We struggle. And it's like, you'd rather not even try, for fear of failure. So this has given me the opportunity to risk and take more risk. I mean, I'm so grateful for it because I don't care if this doesn't work out as much as I care that I said I was going to do something and I'm actually doing it. And I taught myself that, there are no limits. I can do this if I really want to do it. I've been manifesting for a while that ever since I've been, a side note, manifesting that my student loan debt will be paid off. And now it's kind of happening. I've been manifesting. I was like, everybody who knows me knows I've been manifesting like this is going to be my reparations for 10 years. I've been manifesting that. Ever since this has happened, I've been manifesting that I'm going to be in Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Ave, and Bloomingdale's by the end of 2023. Like I've been doing just bold manifestation ever since. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing. That's one part of the opportunity for myself that I've gotten through entrepreneurship, but also connecting with people like you. I mean, you're not, I would say the first, but you're the first person to give me this platform to actually talk about what it is and actually delve into like why I got started and put my face out here that in a way that hopefully influence some others to get started, take those first steps. Yeah. Like that's probably the hardest part, but in my experience, once you start going, once you start moving, the universe meets you halfway. The universe could be your God, your Jesus, whoever. The universe has met me every single time. I just knew I wanted to do a thing. I started doing the thing and everything kind of just came to me. So I feel like I was blessed just based on my intentions to do something. And I started attracting, things to me. Just showed up at a birthday party. I met Miriam, just attracting people who provide opportunities. So I'm really blessed. And besides that, the opportunities, I've been asked recently to maybe speak at an entrepreneurship class. So things like that, they're not really in my comfort zone. And that's kind of how I promoted today's event. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone because your breakthroughs, as I understand, are going to be on the other side of you stepping out of that uncomfortable conversation you haven't had with that person or, doing something that makes you feel afraid. Once you get it done, it's almost like a rebirth. It's like, you can get anything you want accomplished. So
very well said. And this has just been lovely. If you guys have any questions for Courtney, make sure you put them into the chat right now. We are on Entre, which is a partially Web3 platform. So I do want to ask you, like, what do you think about Web3? Do you know what that is? Are you into crypto at all or anything like that? Any plans to incorporate that in your business?
So I'm into crypto and I'm actually looking at attending a class that's coming up about Web3, because there are all these terms out there, but I don't know exactly what it is. Like I own crypto. I bought up some Shiba. I bought up some Bitcoin some years ago as a Christmas gift to myself. I know I want to have it in my portfolio. I don't care what it looks like today. I just know it's the next big thing. But I don't know about Web3. So definitely enlighten us.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I think having a baseline of some knowledge is great, and it's good to know that you are investing in some cryptos. I also wanted to say that I totally see that for you and affirm that for you to be in Nordstrom, in Saks. I would love to see those umbrellas in there. They're so beautiful when you open them up, and the way that they're designed. I've never seen anything like it. So unique. So they would be crazy to not stock them. I'm so excited for that day to come and celebrate with you.
Thank you. It's like my vision is to have, say, 5 different lines. Like this is the first feature collection. This is hopefully going to open up doors for me to design like mid to upscale fashion umbrellas with real wood and, a mobile charger as a part of the handle or a flashlight. So like I have so many big ideas that I'll be using. Hopefully, if I win this Alibaba.com grant I applied for last weekend, I'll be using my resources to try and build more prototypes before I have like mass production. But this is really just getting me into the flow of like improving sales skills, learning marketing, learning funnel marketing, and just learning like this. I just like to learn something new every day, and that's just who I am. So This is perfect for me at this time.
Well, Entra is a great platform to meet people all in that wheelhouse, and I appreciate you taking time to chat with me, and congratulations for putting yourself out there. I want to say thank you to Shawnee and Rita and April, and I think Nanya. That's a joke name, but I still think it's funny to get to see you.
My friends.
they all showed up to support, which is beautiful. And you can always count on my support too. And I appreciate you supporting me, coming on my YouTube. And we will hopefully see you soon. Catch up over the holidays.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you for doing this and inviting me and being so patient with me. I think we were trying to do this since July, so I appreciate your team as well, and looking forward to staying connected and getting some things done. Thanks, everybody, for showing up as well.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, boy. Okay, Bella. Yes, Jane is home. You little biscuit. You want your dinner? Okay. You want dinner time?
you want to come